welcome to another deep dive. This time you've sent over some sources about the psychology of money.
Yeah.
And I find this really, really fascinating because our relationship with money, it can be complicated.
Oh, absolutely.
It's not always rational.
Right.
There's emotions tied into it.
It is.
So I'm excited to sort of unpack this with you.
Yeah, absolutely. I think it's so interesting how our emotions can sometimes hijack our best financial intentions.
Yeah.
Think about it. Have you ever caved to an impulse purchase
Oh, yeah.
after a really stressful day?
All the time.
That's emotional spending in action, right?
Absolutely. We've all been there. And it's our brain is looking for a quick fix, and it's like a dopamine hit to ease the stress.
Exactly.
But the sources you sent mentioned instant gratification as a hidden psychological factor here.
Yeah.
Can you explain a little bit more about how that works?
Sure. So instant gratification is all about seeking immediate pleasure or relief,
Right.
even if it comes at the expense of long-term goals.
Right.
And our brains are actually wired to prioritize immediate rewards.
Okay.
And that's actually thanks to our evolutionary history.
Oh, interesting.
So think about it, for our ancestors, securing food and shelter right now was essential for survival.
Right.
But in today's world, that same wiring can lead us to overspend on things we don't necessarily need simply because they provide a quick, emotional boost.
That makes so much sense. And it's not even just stress that triggers this, right?
Yeah.
Even boredom or, just feeling down can send us on these spending sprees.
Oh, for sure.
And the sources you share, they also highlighted the role of social media in amplifying these emotional spending patterns.
Absolutely.
What's going on there?
Well, social media presents us with this constant stream of carefully curated images and experiences, and often showcasing a lifestyle that's aspirational.
Yeah.
Right. But not necessarily realistic for most people.
Right.
And this can trigger feelings of inadequacy.
Yeah.
Or the desire to keep up with the Joneses, even if it means stretching our budgets beyond what's comfortable.
It's everyone's on this permanent highlight reel, right?
Yeah.
Showcasing their best selves and their most extravagant purchases.
Assured.
And it's easy to get caught up in that comparison game.
Oh, yeah, definitely.
And the research you sent, it actually delves into the evolutionary roots of social comparison.
Yeah.
Tell us more about that.
Sure. So social comparison, it's actually hardwired into us.
Okay.
Back in the day, assessing our status within a group was crucial for survival.
Right.
It helped us determine, who had resources, who had power, and who to align with.
Right.
But today, in the digital age, this instinct can get distorted. We're constantly bombarded with images of people who appear to be doing better than us financially.
Right.
And which can fuel, feelings of envy, inadequacy, and the urge to spend more in order to fit in.
Right.
Or project a certain image.
So how do we navigate this complex landscape?
That's the question, isn't it?
It seems like we're fighting against our own brains.
Yeah.
And this constant barrage of external pressures.
Absolutely.
It's a lot.
Well, the first step is awareness.
Okay.
Simply recognizing that these psychological forces are at play.
Okay.
Can be incredibly empowering.
Right.
So instead of mindlessly reacting to emotions or external triggers, we can start to pause, reflect, and make more intentional choices.
Okay, so we've identified some of the external pressures like social media.
Right.
But what about the internal pressures that we face?
Yeah.
The sources you provided mentioned money beliefs as a key factor in our financial well-being. And I remember growing up, with certain beliefs about money, like it being dirty or that wealthy people are greedy.
Right.
And I think those beliefs have definitely impacted my financial decisions at times. Have you ever encountered those kinds of limiting beliefs around money?
Absolutely. These money beliefs, often formed during childhood, can be incredibly powerful.
Wow.
And they operate beneath the surface, influencing our financial decisions without us even realizing it.
It's crazy.
And these beliefs can range from feeling unworthy of wealth to associating money with stress or conflict.
So if we're operating from these subconscious and often negative beliefs about money, how can we break free?
That's the million-dollar question.
How do we even begin to identify and challenge them?
Well, that's where things get really interesting.
Yeah.
We need to become financial archaeologists of sorts.
Okay.
Digging into our past to unearth those deeply buried beliefs.
I like that.
So think back to your childhood.
Sure.
What messages did you receive about money?
Okay.
Were your parents savers or spenders?
Mm-hmm.
Did you experience financial hardship or abundance?
Okay.
Often our money beliefs are shaped by those early experiences.
So it's like those early experiences created a money script that we've been unconsciously following ever since.
Exactly.
That's a powerful image. The research you shared also mentions two contrasting mindsets.
Yes.
A scarcity mindset versus an abundance mindset.
Right.
Can you unpack this for us?
Sure. So think of it this way. Like a scarcity mindset is like seeing the world through a lens of not enough.
Okay.
There's a constant fear of lack, a feeling that resources are limited,
Right.
and competition is fierce.
Okay.
This can often lead to hoarding money,
Got it.
making decisions based on fear and missing out on opportunities because of a perceived risk.
That resonates with me. I definitely have moments where I get stuck in that scarcity mindset.
Sure.
What about the abundance mindset? How does that differ?
So an abundance mindset is about recognizing the world as a place of plentiful opportunities and possibilities.
Okay.
Now, it's not about denying financial challenges,
Right.
but it's about approaching them with a belief that solutions exist and that we have the power to create a more prosperous future for ourselves.
Okay.
So people with an abundance mindset tend to be more generous, more open to taking risks, and more likely to see setbacks as temporary hurdles.
Got it.
Rather than permanent roadblocks.
Okay, so let's say we've done some digging and identified some of these limiting beliefs.
Yeah.
What's the next step in rewiring our money mindset?
Right.
Because it sounds like these beliefs are pretty deeply ingrained.
Oh, they are.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's not about like erasing those beliefs overnight.
Right.
But rather about like gently challenging them.
Okay.
And replacing them with more empowering ones.
Okay, like what?
So, for example, like if you find yourself clinging to the belief that like money is the root of all evil, start exploring alternative perspectives.
Okay, give me some examples.
Yeah, so you could like research philanthropists who use their wealth to make a positive impact on the world.
Okay.
Or you could focus on the good that money can do in your own life, like providing security opportunities and the ability to like support causes you care about. So it's about reframing your relationship with money from one of fear and scarcity to one of possibility and purpose.
So it's not about ignoring the potential pitfalls, but rather about adopting a more balanced and nuanced view?
Exactly. It's about recognizing that money is simply a tool.
Right.
And like any tool, it can be used for good or for ill.
Okay.
The key is to become a conscious and responsible steward of your finances.
Right.
Making choices that align with your values and contribute to your overall well-being.
Okay, I'm getting a much clearer picture now.
Good.
But let's be honest, even with the best intentions, we all face financial challenges at some point.
Oh, for sure.
Debt, unexpected expenses, stagnant wages.
Yeah.
These things can really weigh on us.
Absolutely.
And the research you sent actually highlights the very real impact of financial stress on our mental and physical health.
It's huge.
Can you talk a little bit more about that?
Yeah, financial stress is incredibly pervasive and often underestimated. It's not just about the numbers, it's about the emotional burden that comes with feeling financially insecure. And this can manifest in a variety of ways. From anxiety and insomnia to headaches, digestive issues, and even strained relationships.
So it really does affect every area of your life.
It really does. Our bodies and minds are interconnected.
Right.
So when we're under financial pressure, it takes a toll on our overall well-being.
So it's not just a matter of tightening our belts and budgeting more effectively.
Right.
There's a deeper psychological and physiological component at play.
There is.
It's interesting that several of the sources you sent actually recommend mindfulness as a tool for managing financial stress.
It can be really helpful.
Can you elaborate on that a bit?
Sure. Mindfulness in its simplest form is about paying attention to the present moment without judgment.
Okay.
And when applied to our finances, it means becoming more aware of our spending habits, our emotional triggers, and the thoughts and feelings that drive our money decisions. It's about like slowing down, taking a step back, and observing our financial behaviors with curiosity rather than criticism.
I can see how that shift in perspective could be really helpful.
Yeah.
But how does mindfulness actually translate into making better financial choices?
Yeah.
Can you give us some concrete examples?
Sure. So think of it like this. Imagine you're about to make an impulse purchase online.
Okay.
You're feeling stressed after a long day, and that new gadget or outfit promises a quick hit of dopamine.
Right.
A mindful approach would be to pause before hitting the buy button.
Okay.
Take a few deep breaths and ask yourself, what am I feeling right now?
Okay.
Why do I feel the urge to buy this?
Yeah.
Do I truly need this item, or am I trying to fill an emotional void?
So it's about creating a space between the impulse and the action,
Exactly.
allowing us to make more conscious and deliberate choices.
Exactly. That pause, that moment of mindful awareness can be incredibly powerful.
Wow.
It allows you to step off the autopilot of emotional spending
Okay.
and tap into your values and long-term goals.
Okay. I love that it's like hitting the brakes on that runaway train of impulsivity.
Yes.
And taking back control. The sources you sent also included some more practical tips.
Yeah.
For improving our financial habits. One that stood out to me was the 24-hour rule.
Oh, that's a classic.
Can you remind us how that works?
Sure. So the 24-hour rule is a simple yet effective way to curb impulse purchases.
Okay.
So before buying any non-essential item, especially a big-ticket one, give yourself a 24-hour cooling-off period.
Got it.
This allows you to step back, assess the true value of the purchase,
Okay.
and consider whether it aligns with your budget and your overall financial goals.
Makes sense.
And you might be surprised how often that initial urge to buy subsides after a day of reflection.
I think we've all experienced that buyer's remorse after a spontaneous purchase.
For sure.
So this rule is all about injecting a little mindfulness. Yeah.
To our spending habits. Another concept that really resonated with me was the idea of setting value-driven goals.
Oh, I love that.
Can you elaborate on what that means and why it's so powerful?
Sure. So think about it this way. Like, saving for saving's sake can feel abstract and uninspiring.
Right.
But when you connect your financial goals to your core values and aspirations, saving becomes infused with meaning and purpose.
Okay.
For example, instead of simply aiming to save a certain percentage of your income each month, imagine saving for a down payment on your dream home, a life-changing trip around the world, or the ability to retire early and pursue your passions.
That's so much more motivating.
Isn't it?
It shifts the focus from deprivation to possibility, right?
Exactly. When your financial goals are aligned with your values, saving becomes less about sacrifice and more about investing in a future that truly excites you.
I love that analogy. It's about aligning your finances with your heart's desires.
I love that. And the research you shared also suggests that sometimes we need a little extra support to navigate these complex financial waters. It mentions the role of financial therapists in helping us understand and overcome the psychological barriers that can hold us back financially. Can you talk a little bit about that?
Sure. So financial therapy is an emerging field that blends psychology and financial planning to help individuals and couples develop a healthier relationship with money. And it's not just about crunching numbers. It's about addressing the underlying emotional and behavioral patterns that can sabotage our financial well-being.
There's still a bit of a stigma around therapy in general. And I think that might be amplified when it comes to seeking help with our finances. Like we're admitting failure or weakness.
It's understandable, but it's important to remember that seeking professional guidance is a sign of strength, not weakness. Just like we might consult a doctor for our physical health or a personal trainer for our fitness goals. Financial therapists can provide expert support and guidance on our journey to financial well-being.
So it's about recognizing that we don't have to go it alone.
Exactly.
There are experts who can help us untangle these complex emotional and financial knots.
That's right.
Okay, we've covered a lot of ground here, from emotional spending and social comparison to the power of mindfulness and the importance of seeking support when needed. But if we had to distill it down to one key takeaway for our listener, what would it be?
It feels like we've uncovered this hidden world of psychology that's driving our financial decisions, often without us even realizing it. If you had to boil it all down to one core message for our listener, what would it be?
I'd say you have more control over your financial life than you might think. By understanding the psychology at play, those emotional triggers, ingrained beliefs, unconscious biases,
you can start making choices that align with your values and long-term well-being.
It's so empowering to realize that we're not just helpless victims of our circumstances or our impulses. We have the power to rewrite our money scripts and create a more fulfilling financial future. But let's be realistic for a moment. What if our listener is feeling overwhelmed right now? Maybe they're dealing with debt, struggling to save, or just feeling lost when it comes to their finances. What's the first step they can take to turn things around?
Start with self-compassion. Acknowledge those feelings of overwhelm or frustration without judgment.
Okay.
It's okay to feel those things.
Yeah.
They're normal human responses to financial challenges.
Right.
But instead of letting those emotions paralyze, you use them as fuel to motivate positive change. Remember, you're not defined by your current financial situation.
Right.
You're defined by your willingness to learn, grow, and make better choices moving forward.
It's a shift from feeling like a victim to becoming an empowered agent in your own financial story. What would you say to someone who's feeling stuck? Like they don't even know where to begin.
Start small. Focus on one manageable step at a time. Instead of trying to overhaul your entire financial life overnight, choose one area to focus on. Maybe it's creating a simple budget to track your income and expenses, or setting up an automatic savings plan, even if it's just a small amount each week.
Right.
Remember, every step, no matter how small, moves you closer to your goals.
It's like those tiny, seemingly insignificant choices compounding over time to create a big impact.
Exactly.
What are some other resources or strategies that our listener could explore?
Well, there's so many wonderful resources available. Check out your local library or community center for financial literacy workshops or classes. Explore reputable online resources like the National Foundation for Credit Counseling or the Financial Planning Association. And remember, there's no shame in seeking professional guidance. A financial advisor can help you create a personalized financial plan, and a financial therapist can help you address the emotional and psychological barriers that might be holding you back.
I love that we're ending this deep dive on a note of hope and empowerment.
Me too.
It feels like we've equipped our listener with a whole toolkit of strategies and resources to start building a healthier and more fulfilling relationship with money.
Yeah.
Any final words of wisdom before we wrap up?
I'd say financial well-being is a journey, not a destination.
Okay.
There will be ups and downs along the way.
Yeah.
But by understanding the psychology at play and developing healthy money habits, you can create a more secure and fulfilling financial future for yourself.
So well said. I feel like we've barely scratched the surface of this fascinating topic.
I know, right?
But hopefully this deep dive has sparked some new insights and inspired you to take a more mindful and empowered approach to your finances.
Absolutely.
And to our listener, we leave you with this final thought to ponder. Imagine your ideal financial future. What does it look like? What feelings come up for you? What beliefs might be holding you back from achieving that vision? This deep dive is just the beginning. Now it's time to take that knowledge and turn it into action.